My boyfriend faked his own death and got away with it for years, so now I'm going to confront him. What's the worst way you've ever been dumped? Because this definitely tops the list for me. My boyfriend, let's call him Andrew, and I had been dating for about 3 years, and I thought we were the perfect couple. We were talking about getting married. We had just moved in together, and I thought he was the perfect man for me. He was like a man that was written by women. The worst thing about our relationship is that Andrew was an entrepreneur, so he was constantly traveling. He was gone for about half the month, usually a little more than half the month, but whatever. He was really successful and super passionate about his business, so I really didn't have that big of a problem with it. One day, I'm living my picture perfect life with my dream man, and the next day, everything completely changes. Andrew was on a business trip, and I get a call from his mom, and she's absolutely hysterical on the phone. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, and finally, she tells me that Andrew had been in an accident and he didn't make it. My world absolutely crumbled. I was building my entire life with this man, and then one day, he's just gone. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I was just a shell of myself. Honestly, I just thought I was never gonna be the same ever again. Like, a part of me was now missing and I could never get it back. The funeral, there was a funeral, was extremely small. It was just his immediate family, a few close friends, me and my family. And I gave a eulogy. Yeah, I gave a eulogy for a man that was not dead. I bet you that narcissist watched all of the videos too, just seeing what everyone said about him. And then just like that, I had to figure out what life was gonna look like without him. I tried to stay in touch with his family over the years, but it was just hard. I love them, but talking to them was really, really difficult because it just reminded me of how much I missed him. And just like that, 2 years has passed and he's still so present in my life. I think about him all the time. I still wear his old clothes to go to sleep. I have pictures of him everywhere. I talk about him all the time. Again, like he was my soulmate, or so I thought. But a few days ago, my coworker came up to me and she was so excited to show me the photos she took on her recent trip to London. As we're flipping through the photos, one of them catches my eye. I was like, wait, stop, go back to that one. Can I see that? And immediately I start bursting out into tears because the photo is a photo of my coworker at dinner, and behind her at a different table is 2 men, and one of the men looks exactly like Andrew. So I'm just getting more and more emotional looking at this photo because he looks exactly like Andrew. And as I'm looking at the photo, I notice the tattoo on his arm. It is the exact tattoo that Andrew has. And it's a unique tattoo. I've never seen anyone else with it. And in that moment, I knew it was Andrew. And then I notice on his wrist is the custom leather bracelet that I bought him for our 2-year anniversary. At this point, there's no doubt in my mind, this is Andrew. But I'm completely shocked. Like, how does one even react to that? Like, there is no correct reaction. I'm telling my coworker, I'm like, listen, I might sound crazy, but my boyfriend's not dead. He's alive in London, which is insane because he used to travel to London for work all the time. At this point, I don't even know what my next steps are. Do I call his family? Does his family know? Am I the only one that doesn't know? Like, how deep is this con that he's running? So I decided it's time to start going detective mode because all I have is a photo of Andrew at this restaurant. So I asked my coworker what the name of it is because it's kind of this small mom and pop restaurant, and I call them up. I do an international call to this restaurant all the way in London. So I call up the restaurant and I asked to speak to the manager, and the guy on the phone is like, actually, I'm the owner. I'm like, even better. And I tell him that I'm gonna email him over a photo because my friend and I were at dinner and both our phones died, and this really nice man at the table behind us offered to let us borrow his phone, and he ended up leaving and he forgot to get his phone back, and I'm trying to find a way to get it back to him. I was like, can you help me and let me know if you recognize him? He was like, of course, email me over the photo. So I do. I get his email, I email it over, and I'm waiting for him to receive it. And all of a sudden I hear him go, oh my gosh, yeah, it's Daniel. He and his wife have been coming here ever since we opened 5 years ago. They were one of my first customers. So, who's Daniel? Why does Daniel have a wife that he's been with for at least 5 years? I guess there were no other questions at that point. Those were them. I said, perfect, thanks. I'll bring the phone in and you can give it to him then, and just hung up because I was in complete shock at that point. The owner did give me his full name, so I was able to go and look him up online. There weren't a ton of photos of him. I think he was trying to stay off the radar, but there were about 3 pictures of him that I could find within the last 2 years. I never had any idea that he had a full double life in London, and I never had any idea that he wasn't actually dead. So I was just really going through a lot. The only thing that I could think to do is book a trip to London and show up right outside of his door. Kind of like Conrad in The Summer I Turned Pretty when he went to Paris, but less romantic. There's a lot more to this story, and I'm gonna figure it out.